Welcome to the Lake District. I'm going to take you on a tour of some of the finest scenery in England. The Lake District has a vast amount to see in a very compact area. It's around 30 miles long, and the variety of scenery changes from lake to lake and mountain to mountain. The moods change from the tranquility of Ullswater to busy Bowness. Bowness in summer is more like a seaside resort than an inland town, with thousands of day visitors, especially at weekends. Throughout the season, many different types of cruises operate, from the pier to lakeside and Ambleside. Tours further afield are also available on open-top or mountain goat minibuses. The Steamboat Museum is nearby, also Brockhole National Park Visitors Centre. It's a good place to visit at the beginning of your holiday to find out what's available and enables you to plan your holiday to the best advantage. A large variety of private boats are moored on Lake Windermere, both sailing and powerboats. Today it's the main recreational centre for all types of water sport. There are several ski schools and rowing boats available for hire, and there are also boating holidays which can be taken from here. There are many picturesque moorings, so no wonder it's so popular. The lake is 10 miles long. Bowness has a very interesting shopping centre, with many cafes, restaurants and bars, also clothes, gifts and sports shops, and climbing and walking equipment suppliers. There are also art studios, boutiques, hotels, guest houses, and almost everything a tourist needs. Many people come to Bowness and think they've seen the Lake District, which is not so. This is only the beginning, and I hope to encourage you to explore further. If you wish to get away from the crowds, just take some of the minor roads, and you'll soon believe that you have the place to yourself. We're now going over the Kirkstone Pass to Ullswater. In the valley is Troutbeck Church and Town End Historic House. It's a superb example of a lakeland farmhouse and dates back to the 17th century. Its surprisingly original and elaborate panelling and furniture is rather more prosperous than the average farmhouse would have been at the time. Town End is run by the National Trust and is open to the public. This view is of Brothers Water, which is said to have obtained its name from two brothers who drowned in it. I'll leave you now to enjoy the views of Patterdale, and I'll catch up with you at Ullswater. Steamers sail from Glen Ridding Pier to Pooley Village, which is situated at the north end of the lake. It's a very pleasant way to spend a sunny afternoon, relaxing and watching the views unfold, the mountains towering above you on one side and the distant skyline on the other. The sleek boat quietly glides through the yachts and dinghies. The lake is 7 miles long. Glen Ridding was once a very busy lead mining area until the mines were closed in 1962. It's an ideal place to park your car for walks on the higher fells and Helvellyn. Many types of water sport take place here. You may launch your own boat at the slipway. There's no water skiing allowed as there's a speed limit on the lake. Fishing is reasonable here. Glen Ridding is a good place for learning to sail, and there's an excellent school near the pier. The less energetic may be happy just watching the thrills and spills of the sailboarders. It's surprising that Ullswater is not more crowded, considering there's so much to do. The village of Pooley Bridge is an ideal place for visitors to stop for refreshments. It has several cafes, and the Crown Hotel has a garden on the riverbank where you can sit and enjoy a drink, or paddle if you wish. It's not as commercialised as many of the villages, and has a more country atmosphere. There's a tourist information centre in the village, and rowing boats are available for hire on the lake nearby. This is where Ullswater runs into the river M.A.R.T. There's easy access to Ullswater from the road which runs along the west side of the lake. It's an ideal place to park your car, sit in the sun along the tree-lined sheltered shoreline, or use your fishing rod. This is Grisdale, a favourite walking area and often missed by many people. Take a by-road at the south end of Ullswater, which will take you to it, and also some high-level walks. If you do decide to go walking along the fells, make sure you wear sensible shoes and clothing. Take a map and a compass, and keep an eye on the weather, as it's been known to change suddenly. We'll now return over Kirkstone Pass, which is a narrow twisting road with stone walls at both sides, to Waterhead, which is situated at the north end of Windermere, 1 mile below Ambleside. You may stop at the Kirkstone Inn for refreshments and enjoy the splendid views in several directions from this high vantage point. Waterhead is the northern terminus for the Windermere launches and steamers, on which you may take a cruise to Bowness and Lakeside, hire a rowing boat, or take part in various water sports. Pony carts give a service to Ambleside, which is 1 mile away, and are very popular. Please remember to keep your dog under control, as it can cause distress to waterfowl, sheep and lambs. Waterhead has several good hotels which are pleasantly situated and central for visiting the whole of the Lake District. We'll now take the Langdale Road, which has some lovely scenery. Many excellent walks onto the higher fells are available from here, and it's a very popular place, unspoiled by development. The narrow road can get quite busy in summer. I think the dramatic scenery in the Langdale Pikes are best viewed driving up the valley, although you may have to travel both ways to fully appreciate them. When you look across the hillsides and see the dry stone walls making a patchwork pattern, it makes you wonder how they came to be. The farmers, when clearing their fields of stones many years ago, used them to build the walls. When they fall down, they can be used again to rebuild them. The volcanic rocks attract the rock climbers, and there are plenty of good climbs to suit all levels of competence. In summer you'll see many vehicles belonging to organised groups, both climbing, canoeing and walking. It's the largest playground in the country, with lots of campsites, youth hostels and bunkhouses. Ambleside is 1 mile above the north end of Lake Windermere in the Rothay Valley, and it's centrally situated for touring. This is one of the major centres for the climbing and walking enthusiasts, and it has easy access to many good walks. Ambleside is an attractive town with shops supplying climbing and walking equipment and local craftsmanship of pottery, woodwork and Lakeland stone. The oldest part of the town dates from the 15th century, and its history goes back to Roman times. There are many stories as to why the bridge house was built. Which are the ones that are true, I wouldn't know. This riverbed is only a trickle at the moment, but can be a raging torrent when the snow is melting. The sheep are a more pleasant type of traffic jam. The brown sheep, you will see, are Herdwicks, a very hardy breed which are able to survive the hard winters on the high fells. They've been here since Roman times. They turn grey as they get older. You'll see several other breeds of sheep known as Swaledales, which are bigger and better for meat production. Skelwith Bridge is an ideal place to stop for a coffee. Sit by the river and watch the birds. The stretch of river below the bridge is a favourite nesting place for herons. There's nothing more pleasant than the sound of running water. Along the drive by the cottages at the side of the bridge you'll also find a cafe and a large gift shop. Elterwater Village is where you can obtain a spinning wheel. It looks a lovely relaxing pastime. These girls are mixing several colours of wool together to create effects in their own designs. Why not call in and have a look, and you may like to buy a spinning wheel to take home with you. We are now going over the Rhinos and Hard Nut passes, which are the two steepest in the Lake District, but should not be missed. Engage first gear, you'll need it, and be very careful. It's a 1 in 3 gradient. At Cockley Beck Bridge, the road to Duddon Valley goes left. We'll explore this later as we return. It has some lovely waterfalls. This is Eskdale, which runs westward towards Wastwater. The valley here is quite wide. The mountains in the Lake District are the result of volcanic eruptions and movements in the Earth's crust millions of years ago. Then followed the Ice Age, when glaciers scraped out the valleys and the lakes. Then the weather eroded the rocks over many years. Several of the lakes are man-made reservoirs. In the past, far-sighted landowners landscaped areas with tree planting. The result is some very pleasing scenery. Narrow gauge fans are in for a treat at the Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway. Their excellent stock of locomotives are 15-inch gauge. Ravenglass is the main terminal and headquarters. It's also where they have their workshops. They maintain and also build locomotives here. This is a thriving railway, and many of the millions of visitors to the Lake District have the pleasure of taking a trip on this marvellous little railway and enjoying the magnificent scenery. Everything about this railway, including the trains, seems to be well looked after. It has several steep gradients which make the engines work hard, but on the way down they quickly rattle along.
Right, Dick, if you come round here now, put the key in. That's it, George.
The Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway has had a checkered career since it was opened as a 3-foot gauge line in 1876 to serve iron ore mines in Eskdale. Within 12 months of it opening, it was bankrupt. The line lay derelict until 1912, when the track was re-gauged to 15 inches. Bassett-Lauk locomotives were used, which proved to be too lightly constructed to stand up to the steep inclines. The railway has passed through 2 more hands before the present ownership. You may start your journey from either end of the line, and there's plenty of car parking space at both ends. The Eskdale terminus has a picnic area and refreshments. Wastwater on the west side is one of the less visited lakes and has steep mountains which fall down to the lake. Sometimes the clouds seem to be resting on the mountain tops. The lake is a reservoir and no boating is allowed. It is said to be 258 feet deep and the mountains are nearly 2,000 feet high. From the top of the Duddon Valley Road looking towards Cockley Beck Bridge there are some splendid views. Stop your car and have a look around from the rocky summit. This valley was a favourite spot of Wordsworth, and he wrote 35 sonnets about the river. The river has some very fast-flowing torrents as it passes between huge rocks. In other parts there are beautiful cascades as it falls over the rocks. You'll have to look for them as they're behind trees. It's a lovely place for a picnic. Approaching Hardnut Pass you can see the ruins of a Roman fort on the right, which used to guard the pack-horse route in days gone by. It's well worth stopping for a look. From the top of Hardnut Pass you have a splendid view over Eskdale towards the west coast. There are also some high-level walks from here. Coniston Village, like most of the others, is tourist-orientated, although there are few hotels. It has John Ruskin's tomb in its 16th century church and a small Ruskin museum nearby. He lived on the east side of the lake, and his house, Brantwood, is open to the public. There are splendid views from the house over the lake, with Coniston Old Man in the background. Coniston was once an important mining centre, the rich copper veins above the village being mined until the early 20th century. The lake is long, narrow and straight. Because of its length, some 5¼ miles, it's been used for attempts on the world water speed record. Donald Campbell lost his life attempting such a record in 1967. A short distance from the village you'll find the magnificent steam yacht Gondola. It's over 100 years old and was restored to its original glory by the National Trust. It's highly recommended for its silent transport and offers a summer service on the lake. This is Tarn House. It was once several small tarns. 70 years ago a dam was built to raise the water level and make them into one. The trees were planted to create this popular beauty spot. It was bought by Beatrix Potter and she bequeathed it to the National Trust. You'll see it on many postcards and pictures. It seems to be one of the most visited places. There's a path around the tarn which enables you to see it from a different perspective. Take the paths through the trees on the left of the main road for some of the most beautiful walks. There are also superb views of Coniston and the mountains. The Old Man of Coniston rises to a height of 2,633 feet. We'll now visit Tibberthwaite. From here you can look across the valley. There are several old mines and quarry workings. They can be dangerous and you're advised not to enter them. Udale Tarn is alongside the Coniston to Ambleside road and is a good place for bird watching. I've seen more species here than anywhere else. These include swans, mallard, herons, owls, hawks and many others. As you can see, it's popular for fishing. The attractive village of Hawkshead, with its 17th century timber-framed slate and stuccoed buildings and its quaint cobbled streets, are well worth a visit. Hawkshead lies in the Vale of Esthwaite. It was an important market town prior to the decline of the wool industry in the early 19th century. In its narrow streets are 3 quaint pubs, gift shops, art studios and cafes. St. Michael's 15th century church, with its peal of bells and chiming clock, is on a small hill overlooking the village. The grammar school's most famous pupil was William Wordsworth. He was sent to school here after the death of his mother, and, encouraged by the headmaster, began writing poetry. His first known verses were written for the school's 200th anniversary. You'll also find at Hawkshead Anne Tyson's cottage and the Beatrix Potter Gallery. Many guided walks start here, and they are tailored to suit all ages and abilities. Details can be obtained from the information centre. In the spring, the rhododendrons add a splash of colour to the countryside, and the wildlife appears more plentiful. Hilltop Farm at near Sawrey was bought by Beatrix Potter with the royalties from her first book, The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Increasing royalties enabled her to continue buying properties in the area, which included farms and numerous cottages, as well as thousands of acres of land. Grasmere is the most attractive village, although it's almost completely turned over to tourism, most of the buildings being either hotels, shops or restaurants. The green slate of which the buildings are constructed gives it a most attractive quality. At the south end is Dove Cottage and the William Wordsworth Museum. Grasmere's 13th century church, St Oswald's, has the Wordsworth family graves in the churchyard. Rydal Mount, his home in latter years, is also to be found nearby. Many people say Grasmere is the prettiest of the villages, and it's certainly pleasant to linger there for a while. A small road rises above the village at the north end, which enables you to enjoy views of the surrounding countryside and look down onto the lake. Although the exterior of St Oswald's is drab and featureless, the interior is unusually striking with timber rafters. It's in this churchyard that William Wordsworth finally came to rest, in a spot chosen by the poet himself. The main road bypasses Grasmere, avoiding the traffic problem of other villages. There are no pavements on some of the roads. Dove Cottage is where William Wordsworth produced many of his greatest works. Have a look at the museum next door. It's classed as a Grade A museum and has the best collection of original manuscripts of his work. Rydal Mount on the wooded hillside above the church of St. Mary is now owned by the poet's great-great-granddaughter. The 4.5 acres of terraced gardens have been traditionally kept in the original design. Many people think a coot and a moorhen are the same bird, which is not so. A moorhen has a white patch under its tail which it flicks up and down. A coot is usually darker in colour and has a white area above its beak. Their feet are not webbed and are large, which enables them to walk on lily pads. Thirlmere is a reservoir. It was once 2 small lakes and was purchased by Manchester Corporation Waterworks in 1879. A dam was built at the south end. The water level was raised by 54 feet. The small village of Withburn was flooded, and in midsummer and during droughts the water level drops, leaving a rocky shore, and the ruins of the village can be seen. I think it's a very attractive lake when full. The shores were planted with conifers, which some people dislike, but they are now mature trees, and you wouldn't know that it was a man-made lake. The road which runs along the far side of the lake is well worth taking, as you can get away from the traffic noise and see the lake from a different perspective. The lake is 10 miles long. One of the best viewing places is House Point, where there's a bench situated on the top of the rock. A short distance from the north end of Thirlmere is St. John's in the Vale Road. It's well worth making a detour along it. Evening time, as the sun is setting and the shadows are long, is an ideal time and gives a more dramatic effect. Keswick is the main centre for visiting the Northern Lakes. It's a small market town and very busy in summer. It has a very pleasant shopping centre and attractive shops in which to browse. It has a splendid position at the north end of Derwentwater with the mountains in the background. The view on a summer evening has to be seen to be appreciated. It's convenient for visiting Borrowdale, the Honister Pass, Buttermere, Crummock Water and Winlatter Pass. Keswick has a modern leisure pool with water chutes, and it's a wonderful place for children to spend the day if it's raining, or if they don't wish to accompany parents on their sightseeing excursions. It's situated just above Fitz Park. The park has excellent landscape grounds. The tennis courts and bowling greens will keep you fit. The well-tended gardens with the river Greta along one side is a pleasant place to rest for a while. There's a small local museum and art gallery opposite the park gates. Lakeside at Keswick is where you can take a trip on a motor launch, or maybe hire a rowing boat. There are some lovely walks. Derwentwater is known as the Queen of the Lakes. In the evening, the mountains are outlined by the setting sun and look almost artificial. To sit on one of the many benches in this sheltered valley and watch the sun go down is a perfect way to end the day. Sunrise over the mountains, birds sing in the trees, golden lakes a-glitter, peaceful as can be. Dewdrops wet your feet, wild flowers scent the air, the freshness of the morning, wish more I do not dare. My boat cuts through the water, ripples spread afar, I must be in heaven or riding on a star. I think I must be dreaming, is paradise like this? I've never known such pleasure, or had a dream like this. The sparkle of the water as I speed along, the wildfowl on the water do not break into song. Alas, I have to leave you, the time is swiftly gone. My heart will stay behind with you, that's why I sing this song. After I have gone away, you may hear the people sing, it gave me the greatest pleasure, it's the best of everything. This view of Bassathwaite is from the road to Whinlatter Pass. The area consists mostly of conifer plantations belonging to the Forestry Commission, who have a visitors' centre here. Many forest trails start here. Newlands Bridge on a summer's evening is a splendid place to stop and enjoy the view of Newlands Valley. The setting sun gives the shadows on the mountain skyline a warm glow. You also have a more interesting view of the mountains surrounding Keswick from here. Derwentwater has 4 main islands. From the Portinscale Road you have a more elevated view and quiet places to park. It's a beautiful lake with the craggy Castle Rig on the east side, gentle Derwent Fells on the west, and Grange at the south. It's known as the Queen of the Lakes. The shores are heavily wooded, many of which are oak trees. Most of the land is in the care of the National Trust, and there are plenty of access points. The main Borrowdale Road is very busy, so try the West Side Road. It'll bring you out at Grange. We've now left Derwentwater and are travelling along Borrowdale towards the Honister Pass, which will take us to Buttermere and Crummockwater. Borrowdale opens out into a patchwork of lush meadows dotted with farmhouses. What do you think of this for keeping cool on a hot summer's day? These youths are being taught rock climbing. It's a marvellous place for adventure holidays. As you reach the summit of the pass and leave the trees, the terrain becomes more rugged and is a complete contrast from the Borrowdale side. It's amazing how the terrain can differ over such a short distance. The Honister Pass has a gentle gradient on one side, but is quite steep on the other. It's a good road and is easy to negotiate. Buttermere and Crummock Water were once one large lake, and are now only separated by a narrow strip of land. This clear and rocky-bottomed lake, which is 2.5 miles long, is fed by numerous streams. I consider the scenery here to be the best in the Lake District, though we all have our favourite spots. There are many different breeds of cattle, including French Charolais and Highland cattle in the Lake District. The different colours make a pleasant change from the black and white Friesians. From the Loweswater Road, the views of the distant mountains are superb. Loweswater, which means leafy lake, is not a very impressive lake, although the area is noted for its rich variety of wildlife. The distant fells fan out like the fingers on a giant's hand. The lovely little church of Buttermere is one of many very small lakeland churches. The Fish and Bridge hotels at Buttermere will cater for your refreshments, and you can gain access to the far side of the lake from here. As the sun goes down on a summer's evening, the lakes sparkle like gold. I think this is the nicest time of day, when most people have gone home. The Newlands Pass terrain is one of a more gentle nature, with the soft contours of the bracken-covered hillside, which is bright green in early summer. Ashness Bridge, with its single arch, was originally used by pack horses in the 18th century and is wider than most. Surprise View above Keswick is a fine vantage point for viewing Derwent Water. The Haverthwaite and Lakeside is the other railway in the Lake District. Its headquarters are at the Haverthwaite end of the line. It has a large yard and sheds where the restoration work takes place, and which you can visit. The original station is also used. They have a good stock of both steam and diesels. Most of the work is done by tank engines, Cumbria being one of them. It's a Hunslet Austerity purchased from the Army. The line has 2 short tunnels and a halt at Newby Bridge. Newby Bridge at the south end of Lake Windermere is where the water leaves the lake into the River Leven on its way to the sea. Here there's a boat marina and the Swan Hotel. Whilst at this end of the lake it's convenient to visit Cartmel Village and Priory and also Grange. The trains connect with boats at Lakeside Station on Lake Windermere. Your ticket enables you to combine a cruise to Bowness and Ambleside to enjoy the beautiful scenery. There's a restaurant and cafe upstairs above the booking hall. You can enjoy refreshments and the splendid view of the passing boats on the lake.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Windermere Iron Steamboat Company, the captain and crew welcome you aboard the MV Swan. Firstly, we ask you to listen carefully to the following safety announcement. This vessel is equipped with float-free buoyancy apparatus, which is situated on the main and upper decks in the form of seating. There are also a number of life buoys.
You may cross the lake with your car from Bowness on the cable-operated ferry, which can save you quite a long journey by road. It gets very busy at peak times, so the saving in time may not be much, as you may have a long wait. This side of the lake is quieter and has large areas of conifer forests.
Yeah, that's the way it used to be.
The theatre in the forest is situated at Grisdale. There are also craft shops and workshops and play areas for children. Well-known artists appear at the theatre in the summer months. It makes a change after a strenuous day sightseeing to get dressed up and relax with a drink in the bar and then see a show. Mountain bikes are very popular here, which you may hire and take a ride along the forest trails. The Grisdale Forest Sculpture is the largest collection in Great Britain. Over 60 sculptures are situated around the Silurian Way. There's a wide variety of wildlife in the Lake District, including red squirrels and deer, but they are very timid creatures and difficult to find. As we get nearer the coast, the occasional cormorant can be seen looking for eels. This one is putting up a struggle. I don't think it likes the idea of being swallowed alive. The quaint little village of Cartmel, centred around a square, has gift and craft shops and is not as commercialised as others. The main attraction is the huge priory which dwarfs the village. It was founded by William Marshall in the 12th century. It's been restored several times and is a combination of several styles. The east window is 15th century. Kendal is often referred to as the gateway to the lakes. It's not far from Bowness if you wish to visit a larger town. Take a look at the Brewery Art Centre and Kendal Museum, or Abbott Hall Gallery and the Lakeland Life Museum. The town has some of the high street chain stores, also tiny alleyways with small shops. There's also a modern shopping precinct for rainy days. Nearby is St Anne's Church. The riverbank to the weir is a pleasant stroll. As autumn approaches, the Lake District takes on its golden mantle. These pictures were taken in the last week of October and the first week in November. See the contrast between the dark evergreens, brown oaks and feathery spruces, and the bright yellow and gold broadleaf trees. To some people, autumn is their favourite time in the lakes. The roads and villages are quieter and accommodation is easier to find. Some of the views are straight off the artist's canvas. There's a different picture at every turn in the road. The soft carpet of leaves cushions the woodland walks. The streams and waterfalls are usually in full flow by now. Seasons come and seasons go, the circle keeps on turning. Spring lambs gambol, rabbits play, wild flowers open on sunny days. Eagles soar from crags on high, skylarks singing in the sky. Children swimming, lakes so clear, small boys fishing from the pier. Brilliant colours on the hillside, summer visitors here again. I walk down paths paved with leaves, orange berries on the trees. Sun lies low in autumn skies, small red squirrels scamper by. Snow on mountains reach to the clouds, sheep make their way to lower ground. Barking dogs as evening falls, lights in windows of dark stone walls. If you can be enticed to leave your cars and coaches to see some of the more inaccessible treats, you have many pleasures to come. It's impossible to show you everything. We've tried to highlight a selection of places and scenery for you to enjoy. I hope they will bring you back happy memories or persuade you to visit the Lake District if you've not already done so. Cheerio!